Hello everybody, welcome back to Style Me Beautiful. You can see that we are in a different location today. Slight change to the normal video. Sam and I got completely snowed in Norwich, and so did the nominees that were coming to have their makeup done. So we're going to take the opportunity to answer some questions that you've asked us.
This one's from Claudia. Which one is better, primers with SPF or skin moisturisers that include it already? Okay, so, well, that just depends on what you want. If you need a moisturiser, I mean, a moisturiser is essentially a primer as well. If you have dry skin, you don't have to use a specific primer because you'll use a moisturiser instead. Does that make sense? If you have an oily skin, you might want an oil
control moisturiser.
Yeah, exactly, an oil control primer or moisturiser. For me, I don't use a specific primer because I use a moisturiser. Because I have dry skin, that moisturiser then helps my foundation to stick to my skin. So the point I'm making, in a very kind of strange way, is that you need one or the other but not both. Because if you put your moisturiser on with an SPF of 15 and then you put your primer on with an SPF of 15, you don't get double the benefits. You actually get less than half because the amount of SPF that's in each of those products is diluted by the amount of moisturiser or primer. Let me make that a little bit shorter for you. You don't need both, just one. Choose which one you need the most. Okay.
And I'm going to make it even more complicated as well and say, depends what country you're from as well. Because in the UK, when they test for an SPF level, they swipe a mass amount of the product on and hold it under to see how long it will last for. Whereas in Australia, the SPF is much higher because they rub it right into the skin and then they test it to see how long it will protect you from the sun. So here, SPF is nowhere near as strong as it is if you're, say, in Australia.
Absolutely. And also, that brings me on to another point. Sometimes a product might say it has an SPF of 15 in, but you don't get the benefit of an SPF of 15 because the amount that is tested is quite a lot more than you use. For example, they might test the size of a 50p piece, but you might only wear
a 5p
the size of a 5p piece. So you're not getting factor 15 at all.
Very, very complicated answers,
yeah,
but hopefully we covered everything.
This question is from Regina. I have really dry lips and face. What do you advise me to use as a moisturiser?
Oh, there's so many out there. It depends on what level you want to go for. I have a pretty dry skin, and I, especially when I was pregnant and I got quite bad eczema last pregnancy, I got quite bad eczema just under my lip. I used Oilatum, which is a natural skin repair moisturiser, but it's made especially for people with dry skin, and that was perfect for me. But it does depend on, you know, the levels of your skin. Also, I would say dry skin and dry lips, make sure you do exfoliate every so often, because otherwise you're putting this moisturiser on top of skin that hasn't been exfoliated. It's not sinking into the skin, you're just flapping that dry skin down. As soon as it dries, it flaps back up again. So make sure once a week, once every 2 weeks, you use a light exfoliator just to take all that away.
I do like the Elizabeth Arden 8-hour lip balm. What one do you like?
Yeah, I do. I love that one. It feels really nourishing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I quite like the Carmex ones as well, but the little squeezy ones are nice.
Right, Joy. This one is from Joy, and she says, what is the best to apply, concealer before or after foundation? So puzzled about that. Ah, well, that just depends on which you prefer. There aren't really any rules as to which order you apply your makeup in. It's just which works best for you, and as long as you get a good finished result. Nick and I think we both work the same way, don't we?
I apply mine afterwards,
yep.
But purely because I do put my foundation all over my skin. So when I apply my concealer, it's really in just the little areas to touch up anywhere my foundation didn't cover. But maybe for someone who doesn't wear as much foundation, may want to do it the other way around if they wear more concealer to foundation, or vice versa. So
yep, same.
No real way, unless, of course, you're wearing a powder foundation, and then you would apply your concealer first.
Here we go, this one's from Katie. I'm doing my own wedding makeup for my wedding in Mallorca. Need help with what foundation I should use, please. Now, Katie, you haven't said what skin type you've got or what coverage you want. So we're just going to give you our best advice.
Okay, so I'm going to say, if you've got an oily skin and you want a medium coverage, NARS Sheer Matte foundation is lovely, it photos really well.
And I would say if you've got a dry skin, go for Sheer Glow.
Yeah.
From NARS as well, so that keeps it quite simple. Go and check out NARS. If you want something really sheer, go for a tinted moisturiser. And you're going to want a primer underneath that to make sure that you keep it on for as long as you can and that, you know, it stops you shining. Or
even a tint foundation, because you may find that the moisturiser might be a little bit rich with the heat if it is going to be hot. So maybe something like Face and Body is really, really lovely. It stays put as well quite nicely, and then just a soft dusting of powder.
Okay, from Liv, how to stop mascara from falling and smudging during the day? Thank you. Okay. Right, now, your mascara tends to smudge if you wear concealer under your eyes. What happens is the concealer breaks down the mascara essentially. So what you want to do is make sure that you put a barrier between the concealer you put on and your mascara. So set with a light powder just under the eyes. That should prevent it a bit. Sometimes it could be the mascara that you're wearing and you might want to opt for, say, a waterproof or just a different formula. Sometimes
they flake, don't they?
Absolutely.
That's awful.
Sometimes the tubing mascaras are really good underneath the eyes, and really the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara is phenomenal. So my mascara often kind of bleeds down under my eyes, and I find that the Clinique one is one of the best for not smudging. Okay, here's one for you, Nick. From Hina. Hi, what can I use to hide dark patches on my face?
It depends really. I would say pop yourself a foundation on, use your concealer second to conceal where the foundation hasn't concealed enough. Use a synthetic, quite a large bristled brush so you can push the product into the skin so it's working in the skin rather than laying on top and you're wiping it away, and then use a powder to set it. Now if you find that an ordinary powder isn't quite enough, you can use a foundation powder which is a little bit more coverage and it will set your makeup into place. Whenever we shoot these videos, I always use a foundation, my concealer, and then I use a foundation powder over my skin to make my makeup stay on a little bit better because I don't have time to check it. So it just holds it in place that little bit longer.
And I think if we're talking on a skincare level, some brands that specialise in kind of whitening products will make like a little rollerball product that can, this sounds really awful, but can bleach out gradually the dark patches. This is from Bonnie Grace. Where and when did you both study makeup? I'm 14 and I might want to go into it.
Bonnie, a cute name.
It is really cute.
Really cute. We both studied at the same place at, well, it was King's Lynn College then, but now it's the College of West Anglia, I think. And we did a 3-year... Two-year, sorry, baby brain. A 2-year diploma in media makeup, and really learnt most of it when we went out to work.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously it is important that you do a short course or a long course or whatever, but most of the stuff you will learn from going out and assisting other makeup artists. So that's what I recommend you do.
And it's important to know the history of makeup as well.
Yeah.
You know, looks that came from certain times and periods, 60s, 70s, 20s, and where those makeup came from. It's really interesting to know.
I think it's a great job, and a lot of people think that it looks very glamorous, but it is a very, very long, hard slog. So don't go into it thinking that, you know, it's going to be all glamour, because it just isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's from Helen. When would I wear a tinted moisturiser and when would I wear a foundation?
What does that mean, like what age?
I assume so.
A lot of young girls want to wear huge amounts of foundation, and it actually looks better if you've got nice skin and you're not too worried about it, to use a slightly lighter foundation, because that's when your skin is just the most beautiful and youthful. And then if you do get the odd blemish, which we've all had, use a concealer then. Then as you get older, if you want to move on to a foundation, try not to go too heavy because then it can look too much. And then it goes back again, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think lots of brands now have their foundations in brackets. So say they'll have like their foundations for young skin, and then you move on to the anti-aging foundations. So those tend to be from the age bracket of about 26 to about 45, I would say. And then you have your skincare for mature skin. And those foundations as well go in the same brackets. So if you are a bit confused, go to somewhere like number 7, for example, and they have them all broken down into kind of age ranges, so you know what's good for you.
And then it's also skin type and everything like that. So there's so many questions to take into consideration when you're thinking about what sort of foundation you should wear. But I would say try not to cover your skin too much.
If you don't need to, yeah. Okay, here's one from Jade. She says, how can you make lipstick stay on?
It's a few ways. I would say, depending on the colour, if you're wearing a strong colour, make sure you lip line the whole lip and colour it in, because it's giving you one layer. Sandwiching the products, which we go on about all the time, but that's why the makeup lasts. Then put your lipstick on. Then if it's still not staying, powder it and put another lipstick on. But don't make them too dry and cakey. And if you're going for a lighter colour, you can now get lip stains, and you can just pop a bit of Vaseline over the top. There's lots of different ways, isn't there?
Yeah, I think those are the two main ones to cover. Though I think there are products on the market like lip coat that you then paint over your lips, which helps them stay on.
Remember when they used to make that and it stung your lips
yeah,
so much?
It does
was
sting.
Like putting nail varnish on your lips.
It does sting. And the other one are like long-lasting lipsticks. I'm not really a massive fan of the long-lasting lipsticks because I do feel
they dry and they break up.
They dry, yeah. They make your lips look a little bit kind of just not very luscious, don't they?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't like it when they kind of fade just in the middle there.
Or they just start breaking away.
Yeah,
like, oh my God.
I'm not a big fan of those. I'd rather just take my lipstick off actually and reapply it neatly, if it came to that. But yeah, you can layer. I think Nick covered the main points there. Lip primers you can get now as well. MAC make a good one. Yep. Oh, exfoliate your lips. That'll help. If you exfoliate them and take off any dead skin.
And that gives them a bit of colour back anyway, which is always nice.
Okay, on the lip I'm going to use a little bit of MAC Amorous, but I'm not going to use it very heavy. I want to use it very light because I like the plummy tone of it. And your lips are quite full anyway, so I'm just going to...
So no lip pencil?
No lip pencil. This is just going to add a little bit of colour